dilute your currency. So more your money's worth less. And then tell you it's a good thing. They'll tell you, oh, it's equity in your house. The equity in your house went up magically, and how that's such a good thing, right? Not talking about how that equity in your house, that value in your house, translates to burden and cost to somebody else, right? We're not going to have that discussion. We're not, you see, understand, they just don't have the discussion. So they take what really is a mountain of interesting information that the public really wants to know and should know, to be empowered, to not be confused, to not be in ignorance. Okay, but they'll turn that mountain of interesting information into a molehill by just not talking about it. That's not important. Just get common sense. Just, do what I did, go to college, get a career and make a lot of money and be successful, and just, it's dog eat dog. Yeah, it's a rat race and it's social Darwinism, but hey, get with the program, man. I mean, jump on the bandwagon and just step on toes, cut throats. I mean, that's it. Be a property investor. Go out there and snap up all that low-hanging fruit, all those fixer-uppers, and be a property speculator, a property flipper, an investor, a landlord. Hey, start a property management company. What the hell? Be like Rich Dad and just go for broke and, be insatiable and just more and more and more and more. But don't know what you're going to do with all the money. But, you put in the country in debt. You see, they're going on other people's money. They call it OPM in the real estate economics world. You understand? Trump knows all about this. So that debt is actually something, well, somehow I got to pay it, so they'll make the public pay it, and which the public is comprised of the poor too. And so that's a tax on the poor. If it's something you can't get away from, if it's something you have to pay in order to continue existing, in order to keep living, all your cost of living, essential human need, like housing, then people will do what they have to do. They know that people will, stop at practically nothing to survive. The survival instinct is very strong in people. You understand? So they know they've got you over a barrel, right? They got you by the throat, okay? And so they know that they can extract these exorbitant rents and mortgages that keep ever increasing without any explanation as to why it's happening. This burden, which translates to burden, but to other people they call it value, so it's a euphemism. It's a good thing that real estate prices keep going up. But not talking about how that's currency dilution. Your housing dollars keep being worth less. They keep being diluted by that, and how that's a bad thing. Right? And then what really kicks me in the teeth is then they want to blame the minimum wage workers for inflation. Those, oh my gosh, $15 an hour, that would cause inflation. Do you understand how this makes me, okay, it just makes me crazy that people don't get it, man. I'm telling you, you gotta, you gotta do your part in this thing. You might say, well, what am I, just one little person? What am I? I'm just one little person. What was JFK? One little person. What was Martin Luther King Jr.? Just one little person. Okay, we got to thwart these a-holes any way we can. Why do you think we got more and more multi-billionaires out there calling for a minimum guaranteed, universal guaranteed income? Because they know that, hey, they'd much rather live in a society of people that are relaxed than stressed out. It's as simple as that. They don't want to be around a bunch of people sucking lemons all the time, living in fear and loathing and misery. Okay, and that's what you got. How do you think it feels if you're just going to keep taking people's security, putting them more and more in fear, year after year, decade after decade, stealing their freedom, making them more and more enslaved? And then I got to hear on Memorial Day, I got to hear people saying, oh, freedom isn't free, and these people fought and died for our freedom and all that. Dude, we've been losing our freedom for so long. Let's have the conversation. What are you talking about? I'm talking about financial freedom. Okay? That's a big deal. You can't have freedom unless you're financially free. And if they keep taking more and more, they keep chipping away at that. Year after year, decade after decade. What do you think we're losing it? Well, you're going to fight for something. Fight for that, man. Be empowered with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Fight these a-holes, Congress and Senate, these rubber stampers for the Federal Reserve money printing class that have put this nation in debt to over $20 trillion. How do you think they're going to pay that back while we're creating more multi-billionaires every day? They're putting it on the backs of the poor. They're stealing the wealth that belongs to the workers, the most productive ones out there. Do you understand how immoral, how unethical, how utterly ungodly what we've got going on is? Come on, people. Come on, share my anger. Share my outrage. Share my indignation. Do something, enlighten somebody, talk it to somebody, have that discussion. Anybody you can talk to, everybody in your family, friends, acquaintances, co-workers, peers, strangers, anybody you get a chance, you're a drop in the bucket. But you know what happens? Those drops start adding up. You know, hey, there's a whole nother bucket where we're all stuck together in there. We're all inextricably interconnected molecularly on like a molecular level. It's psychic. It's everything. So that's why these multi-billionaires, they get it. They understand, hey, look, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. They're not going as far as me and saying, hey, we have a right, not only a right, but a duty, an obligation, a responsibility to ask, whose planet is this anyhow? Let's just go to the scriptures. Let's go to the Bible. What is God's opinion on this? Is it God that's, when you go catch a fish out of the sea, you need a fishing license, right? Okay, so you caught a fish out of the sea, and so, does God pop his head out of the cloud and say, that'll be $5, or big, well, that's a pretty good sized fish. That'll be $10, please, sir. So God's up there holding his hand. You got to pay up. It ain't God doing it. You understand? Inherently, you have a right. This planet belongs to you too. That's a thus saith the Lord. That's a very biblical teaching I'm giving you. Okay, very biblically based precept. I don't hear any other preachers talking like me, but I'm talking like me, and I'm asking God for advice. I'm thanking him every day of the week. I thank God for a million different things. Just the other day, I got this 1977 GMC van I absolutely love. I've had it since 1990. And a while back, I had this guy, Joe. I was at a job here locally in Chico, and he, Latino guy, and he was interested in buying it, he said. I'm not sure if it was a pretext for something else. I kind of think he was vetting me or something. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but I'm a pretty intuitive guy. But he's a very nice guy, and poor guy's got a couple of years on me, but he looked younger, but he's got serious health problems that I'm not going to go into, but praying for him, and I hope he gets better. But I told him to do his own research, and I was talking to him about all the medicinal foods, cayenne pepper and apple cider vinegar. And, there is healing foods, man. I mean, that advice I gave to on Twitter, I gave, what's his name? The guy that runs Jeopardy, Alex Trebek. I gave him the advice. I said, look, Alex, you know what? My dad, I didn't tell him this in the tweet because, you can only make a short tweet, and I didn't want to be too wordy and risk that he's not going to read it. But my dad, okay, quick story here. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in his 30s, and doctors, plural, told him he'd be dead in 5 years. He got into nutrition and other things, forms of meditation or prayer, some people call it. But he ended up living to be 86. And I was a part of a couple of health food stores that he helped start. And I've read countless books, and I've been to college, and he knew a lot too. So I really trusted his knowledge. I mean, after I witnessed what he did, and when I was 17, I had acne all over my face, my back, my chest, and he told me to try brewer's yeast. 2 weeks doing a big glass of warm water and brewer's yeast, a couple of tablespoons of brewer's yeast in there, and the acne. I mean, it was like the kind that would scar normally, and I'd have craters in my back and face, but nothing. I mean, it blew my mind. It was like magic. And my dad and I didn't get along that good before that, but we got along after that. But anyhow, I could kiss the ground he walked on after that. Yeah, the girls would look at me. Who wants to go out with a guy with a pizza face? I knew that. Even though I was surfing and everything, I was out in the water getting the salt and the iodine, the sun. It was very drying. It was as healthy a thing I could do, was surf. But it seemed to exacerbate the acne. I know just my hormones were going crazy. Plus the food, my diet, it was just really rich and probably not such good fats. I was eating a lot of, my mom would make like rigatoni with beef in it and all this, and I'd scarf it down. And my sisters were going vegetarian at that time, and they would mock me. And then I'd get a big stomach ache from the cramps. You know how it is when you eat too much meat too fast. But that kind of food. A lot of peanut butter and jam sandwich, jelly sandwiches, and milk, extra rich milk she would buy me. I like that stuff. But, anyhow, it cleared up my acne, and my diet didn't change dramatically. But I was part owner of a health food store right out of high school at 18, 19 years old. I was already running my own business. But thanks to my dad in large part. But with Alex Trebek, I tweeted him that, I just was asking the question, Alex, look into it. I think I might have mentioned Dr. Joel Wallach. But I said, could lightly scrambled eggs in butter, and I use a skillet. I cook them on high. I add about a teaspoon of water per egg when I whip them up using a heavy fork. It works better than these whisks, I think. They're easier. It's easier to clean a fork, and it seems to work better for getting to the bottom of the bowl. I don't know. I just like it better action. And, you scramble them a bit without the water, and then you'll add the water after you've got them mixed up. And you got to be careful because the water will sit on top. It doesn't mix immediately, but you stir it, otherwise it might splash out of the bowl. But anyhow, and I'll use a cast iron skillet, put a good sized chunk, tablespoon of butter in there for 3 jumbo eggs, and you turn it on high. And you wait for it to get hot, not too hot. Don't burn your butter. Pour your eggs in there and stand over it. You lift it as it starts, you see it cooking, and maybe in the middle you might break open any bubbles that start forming, and you keep moving the wet stuff to the bottom of the pan, and don't let it burn. Never let it get too hot. Never let it burn. And if you ever think you're running into a problem, you shut the heat off immediately and keep stirring your eggs. Okay, you don't want to mess it up. It's pretty easy to mess them up when it's on high. But if you just stand over them, you'll get good results. I guarantee it. Very delicious scrambled eggs. But anyhow, I told Alex Trebek that he ought to, try this. That maybe this could be your best medicine, is just some lightly scrambled eggs and butter. And this is something I learned from Dr. Joel Wallach. He claimed that he wasn't curing diabetes, but he was saying in a couple of weeks doing scrambled eggs like this, not overcooked, suddenly people's diabetes was going away. And pancreatic cancer, as we all know, is related. It's like a more severe form. It could be that Alex Trebek was diabetic or pre-diabetic or just an undiagnosed diabetic. That goes on all the time. Big toe gout is something I had a run-in with, and I'm still feeling the effects. It's a form of arthritis, but I got off the high fructose corn syrup. I'll never do that poison again. That's poison. That's toxic. You talk about substances that should be banned, or if the idea of taxing something high enough it dissuades people from buying it because they can't afford it anymore, do it to that. High fructose corn syrup. And what's worse is this aspartame filled, this toxin, okay, this poison, aspartame in the diet soda. And here's the real kicker. Okay, it's making, like, a lot of women might do this because so typically care about their weight so much. Because guys, so many guys, they want to be buff, right? They want to be, whatever, brawny. But the ladies, they always are conscious that they're a little overweight in their minds. And so often they're not. They're just, the voluptuous. Who doesn't love a voluptuous woman? I like them all. They all look good to me if they look healthy. A big woman, a big woman. A heavy-set woman can be very attractive if she looks healthy. Okay, and down the line, a petite woman. They look like teenagers. I like them all. I just God's finest creatures. They're beautiful creatures. To the ladies, all I can tell you, ladies, if you look healthy, you're going to be attractive. You're going to be beautiful. That's my opinion. Okay, as a connoisseur of beautiful females, I know they're all beautiful. Just be healthy. You're going to be irresistible to some guy. I guarantee it. I promise you. But you've got to do that thing. Get healthy. Do your own research. Different experts disagree. So, you got to really do your own research and come to your own conclusions about diet and what a big deal and what a big part it plays in how you look. But can you imagine being a woman drinking diet soda, which diet translates right in our minds, right, healthy. It's healthy because it's diet conscious. So anything that says diet on it, we think of health. But it's actually proven to make them gain weight. I mean, isn't that mind? It's like mind spinning. But don't drink the high fructose stuff either. Don't drink it at all. If you got to drink soda pop, if you absolutely can't go cold turkey, then go and buy the stuff that comes from Mexico, which you'll find in the Mexican food aisle at the supermarket, right? At least at the supermarket I go to, you can find it there. The Coca-Cola made with real sugar. Okay, and people say, wow, this guy's talking about diet, but he smokes cigarettes. Listen, I smoke because I enjoy it. I don't smoke to get sick, and I know how to mitigate the damage. Do you know about cod liver oil and the benefits of vitamin A and D? You know that? I mean, this is what helped save my life from having pneumonia as a child.